Today we are going to take a closer look at our story for the week, Hollywood Chicken, and we are going to find examples of figurative language in this story. Before we take a closer look, what kind of story is Hollywood Chicken? Is it fiction, nonfiction? What's the genre or type of story it is? Well, just by looking at the cover and the title, it is fiction, and it's a certain kind of fiction story. It's called a fantasy. Fantasies are stories with events that cannot really happen. So as you read Hollywood Chicken this week, look for animal characters that talk and act like real people, the beginning, middle, and ending of the story, and the problems and solution in the story. So go ahead and get your My Book 2 and turn to page 167 and follow along with us. You will also need a pencil or a pen to write with. So go ahead and pause the video and get out your My Book 2 and follow along. Now that you have your My Book 2, you need to turn to page 171 and we are going to reread it. It says, "Chicken Lily, I'm so glad you're here. Get some sleep because you have your first audition in the morning. I know you will knock their socks off. Meet me at my office and we'll go together. Kisses." So now let's take a closer look at the page. So Luz tells Chicken Lily that she knows you will knock their socks off. Go ahead and underline, you will knock their socks off. Does she mean that she will literally knock people's socks off, right off their feet? Is that literal? Will that really happen? No, that will not really happen. That is called figurative language, and it's a certain type of figurative language. It is an idiom. So go ahead and write idiom. So the author is doing that so you can think in your head another meaning for the words and create a mental image in your head. So who says that Chicken Lily will knock their socks off, not literal, but to imagine that she will surprise the audience with her talent and show them how much she loves acting. So how might Luz say what she means in a literal way? So she's saying this figuratively. She doesn't literally mean it, but if she was to change the meaning to be literal and have one meaning, what would she say? Well, she might say, I know they will love your acting. So we would replace this with, I know they will love your acting. Is that as interesting as using an idiom? No, probably not. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at the rest of our story. Go ahead and turn to page 172, and I'm going to reread it to you and you can follow along. "Chicken Lily, darling, guess what? You got the lead role in the movie Crossing the Road the Other Side. I told you the audition went well. You are due on set tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. sharp. Don't be late. Kisses, Luz Cruz." "Luz, I am as proud as a peacock. Thank you so much for helping me. When I called home to talk to Little Red, she said I am the talk of the town. I sure do hope I can make them proud. Joyfully, Chicken Lily." Now let's look at 173. "Today I got to meet the other actors on my movie. So many of them have gone to big chicken acting schools. A lot have come from families where the chickens all work in the movies. What if I don't fit in? One of the actors sure made me feel like I don't belong. Slim the worm made a joke about the way I talk. He didn't think I heard him, but I did. Did I make wrong decisions when I left? Did I make the wrong decision when I left the farm? What if I can't fulfill my dream? Maybe I should let Luz Cruz know there's a problem on the set. I don't want her to think I'm as helpless as a chick, though." Now let's take a closer look at the figurative language in this story. On page 172, what does Chicken Lily compare herself to when answering Cruz? So let's take a closer look at Chicken Lily's response right here. And she says that she is as proud as a peacock. Underline that. What kind of figurative language is that? Well, it's using the word as, and that would be a simile. So we are going to write the word simile. So what is she comparing herself to? She's comparing herself to a peacock. So why do you think she does this? A peacock looks very proud when it opens all of its feathers of its tail. So comparing herself to a peacock shows how proud Lily is that she got the part. Now let's look at another example. So let's look at page 173. So what details in the text explain what the simile on page 173 is? So let's take a closer look at the simile here. She says at the bottom, I'm as helpless as a chick. How do we know that's a simile? Because she's comparing herself to something and she's using the word as, and that's a word used in similes, like or as. So she's comparing herself to a helpless chick. And that's how we know that it is a simile and it's figurative language. So in her diary, Lily compares herself to a little chick who can't help itself. She decides not to let Luz Cruz know there's a problem on the set because she doesn't want her to think that she can't do anything on her own. So those are some of the examples of figurative language that is used in this story. A lot of authors use figurative language in their fiction writing. So as you read this story and other stories on your own, pay attention to similes and idioms and hyperboles, and think about, whenever you read those words, create a mental image of your head of what the author is trying to tell you. Remember, it's not literal. Instead, it has a different meaning to it, so it could help you imagine it in your head and to make the writing more interesting. So thank you for watching, and use this video to help you complete your reading assignments for the week.